Okay, the question which I've got is, what is the greatest success that you have had as an engineer? I would say the greatest success which I have had is to build SmartQ. I really love the company. Um, I think it's something which is a result of pure passion of mine and the team behind me. So yeah, that's something which I can definitely collect as the greatest success. How is it to be part of the engineering team at SmartQ? Little tricky to describe all of that in a few words, but I'll give it a try. You can consider being part of the SmartQ engineering team as being in a family where each person is caring about each other. They care with perspective of what is that thing which they can do to their colleague uh, for them to grow in their career. They find opportunities where they can help them to reskill, upskill, and it's an exciting day all the time. We take responsibility for every good and bad things which happens with the team. So it's filled with fun. Yeah, that's what I would say. What do you enjoy the most about being an engineer? So being an engineer brings out the best in me. I'm a guy who wants to think very logical, who wants to solve problems which are faced by people in a very logical and pragmatic way. So that is something which I'm always excited about. I'm excited to explore something new, teach it to people around me, bring it to life, and see people using it. Right? So that is something which gives pleasure for me to be an engineer. And another thing which I see is there are a lot of professions which people can pick. Engineering is one such profession where you can make impact at scale. For example, imagine an engineer who is building some cutting edge technology, maybe self-driving car, right? Look at the volume of impact which he can make, although he might be contributing X amount of his time, but he can have a huge scale at which he can operate. That's the power of being an engineer. My next question is, being a CTO, how are you so humble and polite? In SmartQ, I feel that there are a lot of people who are like me, and in SmartQ, all of this designation really doesn't matter. It's just there for formality purpose. Ultimately, you are what you are inside the organization. You are there to solve people's problem and build the best solution out there. So yeah, it's just whatever I am comes forward, the same thing, all the good things which are there in each person comes out as is without any designations, cutting them or enhancing it. When did you decide that you want to become an engineer? Okay. I decided it quite some time back. When I was in, post 10th standard is when we had to choose whether we wanted to pick up one of the subject for your PUC, which is either electronics or biology. I knew that I am very bad at drawing things, so I clearly decided that I don't want to get into biology. So first I chose with that as a mindset and then selected electronics. When I started learning about electronics, I really got fascinated. I went very deep, and there are instances where I used to go to, there is SP Road equivalent which is there in my hometown. I used to go stand there, just look at people what they are buying, and I used to ask them in which part of the product do you plan to use. Right? So it really went into my blood where I was so fascinated that engineering is such a wonderful thing, and that too specifically in electronics and computer science, you can do so many things which is purely like mind-boggling for me. I thought that I can completely let out my imagination to do something which is completely new. Right? So from there I had passion for engineering. So from then I decided that I want to be an engineer. If you are not an engineer, what would you be doing instead? Actually, I've never given a thought about it. It's a tricky one. I don't have an answer. Okay, the last one. What is your least favorite subject in engineering? So in engineering, most of the subject I really loved. I think there was one subject which was on Constitution of India. Right, that subject was a mandatory one, and I just scraped through. Right, that was the only subject in which I got a star. Right, so that is something which I'll never forget. Yeah, that was the least subject according to me. Thank you.
Yeah.